Doing it.
What's up, AB? This is not going to be as entertaining as a Joe Rogan episode, but we're still going to do our thing.
Yeah.
We'll figure out a way to make this punchy.
But you
We'll
can
make it fun for
probably
the kids.
listen.
Oh, where'd you go? Hey, where's my Duke? Am I live streaming? Am I still on? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Talk Live. Hope you're doing well. Oh,
All right. You couldn't see me that whole time, or
no,
what?
I was just hosting the show for a little bit.
Well, because I could totally everything seemed normal to me.
Oh, you disappeared absolutely. Now you're lagging a little bit.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, let's try this. Let's give this a shot.
I just went to standard res. Maybe my computer doesn't like it, man.
You went to Stando Res.
Yeah, maybe my computer's like, you know what? We're not doing this high res stuff. So
Yeah, maybe. Let me see. Give me a second. For anybody.
just
That's
give us a
there.
shot, guys. Give us 1 sec, okay?
Yeah.
Give us a
we
shot.
might need to.
We've never
We
done
might
this
need to
before,
stop.
okay?
We might need to stop live streaming and just record this and put it out later if the thing's getting crazy. I don't know. I think it's okay.
You look good now. You look great now.
I think it's okay. Let me
Okay,
check
awesome.
the volumes real quick. All right. I think we're rolling. I think we got it. I think we
Awesome.
got it happening
Thank
down
you,
there.
everybody, for working through these technical difficulties.
We're just getting them all out of the way at the beginning.
It's
So
been
we
a
can get started.
challenge, yeah.
Nobody's ever watching for the first couple of minutes anyway, because you know what I'm
That's all right,
saying?
yeah.
It takes
Facebook's
a
letting
minute.
everyone know you're out there, yeah.
So while we're doing this, I think we want to maybe bring your volume up just a tad.
Okay.
So maybe up to like 150, 160, something like that.
Okay, I'm going to 163, and that's
And
the
that's where
final bid.
we're gonna
That's the
stay.
final bid.
Somebody comment in if Alex is breaking your eardrums.
Please do it. Yep. This is my speaking voice, which is kind of on the loud side. I was a drummer for my whole life pretty much, so I am deaf all around in a sense of like volume. So Uncle Al sometimes gets really loud. He doesn't know. Sometimes when I'm preaching, I kind of
Uncle
stop
Al.
preaching. I go, "Am I yelling right now?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." They're like crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll stop. I'm preaching. I like the joy of the Lord, yelling really loud. I'm like, oh, sorry, this is not. I'm not trying to communicate like this, but it's just happening. Okay.
Well, you started leading worship in what, the 90s or the
I was
early
born in
2000s?
the 80s. So let's see here. 85. I probably started leading worship when I was like in like 14 or 15 years old, which would have been 97, 98, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really started leading worship like my sophomore, junior year of high school, which was like early 2000s. And then I went to
Yeah,
guy for leading worship with Brother Dick Grout. What a great man.
for real, dude.
So I haven't led worship in a long time. Once in a while, I'll do it for
Mm-hmm.
our family, or if there's like a guitar lying around, someone's like, "Hey, can you lead us in a song or two?" So, like all these new songs, I have no idea. Like I was just watching
Yeah.
yesterday before church, like 5 songs in a row on YouTube, and it's like Mav City and Elevation. I'm just like, I don't know any. I know these are all the songs that I really enjoy, but I don't know
Right.
them to play
To know
them and
them, to
sing
play, to
them and need
lead.
a band. Forget it, dude.
We were so on the same page right there, because that's exactly what I was gonna ask you. Because I got stuck. Like I feel like I used to lead worship a lot, like in the probably not early 2000s, but kind of like tail end of Elam, and then so
Sure.
yeah, probably the mid to late 2000s.
Mid to late
I
2000s, yeah.
was leading worship a lot, and I kind of got stuck in that. Like if someone tells me I need you to lead worship today, I'm going to
Dude, you're going open
like
knee, we fall down, bro,
like
guaranteed.
yeah,
We
I'm going
fall
like I
down.
could sing of your love forever.
Bro, no, you do we fall down.
Holiness.
No, you do we fall down because it easily goes into Spanish. Santo, Santo, Santo. You do the easy ones. that
Dude,
go
I
bilingual. You
got
know what I'm
all the
saying?
songs in Spanish. I
Oh,
got all the
dude.
songs. I could go back and forth all day, baby.
So
All
I
day.
mean, I don't Hillsong. I'm not sure if they're releasing any more worship. They have their own stuff. R.I.P. We love them. Pray for Hillsong.
Yes.
Bethel music to me kind of sounds all the same these days. So if I heard a song now, I couldn't tell you is that from 2010 or from yesterday. It all kind of like is the same thing. Mav City, the same vibe. I'm like, songs are 13 minutes long. I can't tell who's doing what. Brandon Lake, too much eye candy for me. I can't worship when he
Too
leads.
much
So I'm
eye
just like,
candy. I can't
I'm
focus.
stuck, baby. I need to write my own worship song so I can lead them. That's
Dude,
what it is.
we're so connected. I was just gonna say that. You keep
It's
saying the
time to,
things that I'm
I mean,
thinking.
when I preach on creativity and stuff, and I were talking to worship
Mhm,
leaders, I say it all the time. I say, hey, sing other people's songs, but no one can
mhm.
produce music that your movement needs.
Yeah.
Because you're even churches in your same city, um, they can write their own songs and it's for the
Uh-huh.
city, but it still might not register with your own family and your own movement. Like y'all might need to express what God's doing in and through you right now. So I always encourage creatives. I'm like, get inspired by what you see by all of these, Craig Roussel's Life Church, and I'll get
Mhm.
inspired by it. Don't just copy
Sure.
it though. But your movement needs your voice, and the creatives God releases awesome ideas, art wise. Visuals is a big creative arts things now. But then also music, man. We got to write songs that kind of speak into what God's doing in this moment for our tribe
Mhm.
that highlight. That's why you love the elevation stuff. They're just writing songs that go along with the sermon series Furtick's doing. And
Mm.
Furtick's there helping
Yeah.
them write music. And then maybe it's the other way around. He writes sermons based on what they're writing. And it comes together to express it inside the movement. So creatives start to write, baby, including myself.
Yeah. Worship night with Alex Seidler.
Worship night. We'll go real live talk worship night. That's what we'll do. We'll write a song on the spot. I wrote a song in the
Me
in
and you,
the in
man.
my hot tub the other night.
You wrote a
It's
song
called
in
it's
your
called
hot
Jesus.
tub?
It's called Jesus plus
Oh,
nothing.
Jesus plus nothing.
Yeah,
I
I
love
always
it.
write the best worship songs when I'm in my hot tub, dude.
I love it, dude. I have a friend
So
who
it's a
says,
song. It's a song it's we've all heard the phrase. It's kind of like a Calvinistic phrase, a little reformed phrase. Like
mhm,
Jesus plus nothing equals
mhm.
perfection or whatever, or Jesus plus anything is false gospel. So I was just
Yeah,
thinking about that a
bro.
lot lately of like, man, we live in such an accumulation culture, such a materialistic culture. And I think about a lot of like the opposite of materialism. Sometimes we think is minimalism, but it's not because what materialism does says the more things you have, the more value you have. Minimalism means the less things I have, the more value I have. So
Wow.
yeah, both of them have their own vices. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to get rid of all my stuff and just like have nothing but a white space like Kanye's house, like white spaces and no couches. Then I'll be no, you're still not fulfilled in the deep part of your core being by having everything or having
Mm,
nothing. That's not what it is. So I've been thinking about that a lot for little years. And this thing kind of bubbled out of that thing of like Jesus plus nothing, of like how much in life that we try to accumulate or how much we try to, self-flagellance, which isn't scary, what priests used to do to beat themselves to pay for their
yeah,
sins. Like
yeah.
that's what minimalism is. You're punishing yourself by getting rid of all your stuff. You're purging your wardrobe, like you're Mary Kondoing your wardrobe, and you're just getting
Mm,
like both of those things keep you away from the very central truth that you need, which is Jesus plus nada. And
wow.
that's the Spanish title. Jesus con nada.
Jesus más nada.
Jesus
Uh,
más vida nada. Is that it? Does that get more publicity if I throw mas
I don't
vida
think
in
you need
there?
the vida.
Andres, if you're listening, it's all yours, baby. Do with it what you will.
Hashtag más vida.
Everybody in this video, tag Mas
Just
Vida about this new
put me in
chorus.
the pool. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Andres' son Jared, if he heard this, would be like, bro, I'm all in. Let's do this. Let's write
let's
this
do
song.
it. Yeah, bro. Alex Seidler bringing the heat early in the
Yeah,
episode.
well, it's the
I
nicest
gotta
day of the
say.
year. I'm out of here in 2 minutes. So we got to just like go in, do our thing, ruffle some feathers. I'm jumping
Make
out
it
the window.
happen. A friend of mine says Jesus plus nothing equals everything, and it's
Oh,
like divine math, and I love
is
it.
that Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan. I don't think I've ever heard Joe Rogan say that
Joe Rogan's
about
like,
Jesus.
Jesus plus nothing plus a little shrooms equals everything. No, and that's the heartbeat of the song right here.
The
So I think
shrooms
I'll
part.
work on. I'm going to be. I wrote this on March 1st. I have the little
Mhm.
note here. March 1st at 7:30 my hot tub. Just sitting in my hot tub. Did all the melodies and stuff just into my phone. It's on a note here. So I haven't sat down a piano or guitar or anything to try to figure it out. But once I do figure it out, I'll send it over to you, man. It could work.
Love it, bro. Love it. Do you prefer to write on a from piano or from guitar when you're working out the melodies and making stuff flow and all that, or does it just depend on the feel of the song,
It
or
depends
how
on
does
how I
that
hear
usually
it.
work out in your
Depends on
mind?
how I hear
Yeah.
it. So this one is a man, I literally can't even remember this is why I recorded it. I can't even remember the melody right now, but I have a note in there. This one though, I think the feel was a guitar, so I can see myself playing guitar to it like a capo, like probably in the key of G or something like
Capo
that.
fifth or something like that.
Really, yeah, really simple. Really, I like to write really simple songs, very easily repeatable. Once in a while, I can't take a song that I wrote without an instrument and probably go to piano. If I sit at piano, usually stuff starts to flow and then it fits with the
Uh-huh.
piano vibe. So guitar is my first instrument. So that's kind of drums were my first instrument. The guitar is my second one, but the guitar is usually what I go and do some writing on. So
That's
it's
awesome,
time,
dude.
baby.
Before you
Jesus
said
plus.
that a minute ago, I forgot that you played drums. I was
Yeah, I'm
always
a
thinking
drummer
of
through
you
and
as a
through, bro.
guitar
That's my
player.
first love and first
Like,
instrument.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man. So any churches out there that need a worship leader, don't call me, okay? I'm not your guy.
Oh, I'm way
Unless you're
too
like,
busy.
how do we not grow our church, sing songs from 20 years ago, and
Yes.
frustrate all of our musicians? Then I'm your guy. Please, I'm your guy.
Yeah, if you want if you want all that plus
Yeah.
like I'll hit a handful of wrong notes
Yeah.
during
If you're
each
like
set. That's me.
we need like a meth
I, I'm
Brandon
a little
Lake.
bit cheaper than Alex, so if you want that
We
and you
need
don't
like
mind some
we need
flatness every once in a while,
we need like a shroom Chris Brown. We need a diet Chris Tomlin.
a diet
I'm
Chris
here,
Tomlin.
baby.
Yeah,
Whatever you need.
that's great. A diet Chris
Someone
Tomlin.
who won't charge us too much, but will still fill the thing. Dude, let me tell you my funniest worship leading story. So this is like the summer after I graduated Elam Bible Institute. So it's before I went to China. I was a missionary for 12 years in China. But the summer before I went, I was living in near Rockaway, New Jersey, with my parents, getting ready to
Yeah.
move over to China, and I was leading worship at my parents' local church, and then uh, churches though started to ask me because they found out, oh, this guy's leading worship. He's not like the full-time worship leader. Let's bring him in. So I was doing like these little hits on Sunday morning, going to
Mhm.
different churches and leading. So my brother was the youth pastor at this church, my parents' church. He had a good friend who was like 30 minutes away down the road. And he goes, hey, can you lead worship for us on Sunday? We're doing a special like worship morning service. And I'm like, awesome. I said, I'm not sure if I can make it out to practice. I'm working full time. I'm trying to raise support. Like, if there's any midweek practice, like, no, it's just you. Like, you just get up there and do your thing. I was like, this is what I
Uh-huh.
was made for.
Perfect.
Just give me a guitar. Let me go rock out. So on the drive there, remember my station wagon? On the drive there, my 95 Chevy Caprice, man. I'm like, I'm rocking my station wagon, just thinking through like 4 or 5 songs that we could do just to flow into one another and do some free worship. And then when I get there, the pastor's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm preaching on 5 expressions of worship: shouting, jumping, dancing, lifting up our hands, blah, blah. And he goes, after every, I'm going to preach like 5 to 10 minutes on each thing. And then I want you to go up there and lead us in a song that talks about that. And this is like right before the service started. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, you got that? And I was like, okay. So like, I was literally like, all my plans were completely thrown out the window. And he talked about like shouting unto God and having a voice to shout. So praise God, the Hillsong United shout unto God with the voice of triumph was a big thing.
Yeah.
But like, I nailed that one. But then like, I didn't know where he was going. So as he's preaching, I'm trying to figure out like where's he going to land the point about how to worship. and then he'd call me up right away, and I have to lead a song about what that was. That was the most. I mean, it was awesome. They gave me, I think, $100. God bless them. Back in the day, that felt like 10,000. But
Yeah,
I was
bro.
like, dude, I that was the most stressful, insane leading worship thing ever because it was not a set of worship. It was like 7 sets of worship. It was amazing.
I remember one time I was leading worship at well, it was Mas Vida at the time. At the
Hey,
time it
shout out,
wasn't
guys.
at the time
Can you tag Mas
it
Vida in
wasn't
this
called
video?
that. It wasn't called that at the time. But yeah, it was like a Friday night and it was a healing night and we had this
Oh, get
minister
ready.
come in, this minister Efrain Gonzalez, who's awesome.
Efrain Gonzalez.
and
I
and
like
he
that
came in.
name.
I was really early, dude. Like I was really early, like leading this worship team, and I
Okay,
didn't
yep.
really know what I was doing. And I was just kind of like, often I felt like I was just thrown in over my head into situations.
Perfect.
But at one point, the minister, he walked over to me. It was like at the end when we had come back up, and he was ministering on healing, and he was praying for the
Yeah.
sick and all this. And he like walks over to me like while I'm leading worship, like partway through the end, and he's like, "Hey, do you think you could like play something that goes along with how I'm ministering right now?"
Oh my gosh.
And I don't remember what I was doing, like what song I was doing or whatever, but it just made me. I was just like, yeah, okay," but that's like the thing you do not want to hear
Oh,
from somebody. You're like, "I
you
think
say it in
I'm
the
killing it
microphone or
right
just
now."
was he in the microphone or just to you?
Oh, just to me, just to me,
Oh, that's nice. That's not
just to
that's
me.
not
Yeah.
I've had people call me out in the microphone before, and that's like,
Oh,
oh,
that's funny.
the whole place is looking at you. You're like, "I'm horrible. Let me
That's
think of a
funny.
song to sing." That what did you
Yeah,
do?
that's
Did you,
rough,
like,
dude.
immediately stop or you transition into a song?
I don't remember. I know we stopped and transitioned into a different kind of song, and
Oh,
I
bro,
still
it's
feel
so
like it
good.
was just but I was just so, like, self-conscious at that point, and just in my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, I'm the worst worship leader
You're
ever."
like your voice is cracking. You can't find have you ever done it where you're leading a song, you can't find the pitch? Have you done that before?
When
Like,
have
you
I
can't find
not
the
done that?
starting note?
Let me see if I've ever not done that. Let me think. Let me try to think about all the
Janice, are you on? Can you tell us?
Yes,
Has he ever
I've
started on
done
the
that.
right note?
Has he ever? Yeah, no, I've done that for sure. I've for sure
Bro,
done
it's the
that.
best. To me, I'm like, with my personality, I can laugh about it, but I know a lot of people
Mhm.
can't when they mess up like that, they can't get back. But I'm like, dude, if you
Yeah.
just laugh about it, then everybody also laughs or think it's not as like awkward or as whatever. Like, stop the song, we're starting again. I've also seen people do that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, dude, like we're not worshiping you and your voice. It's okay.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
It's like the
I
quote of like
love
it's the quote of like the guy person was like, I didn't like worship today. And it's like, That's fine. We weren't worshiping you. Who cares?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's really good. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. I remember I love one of my favorite things is like the worship. I don't even want to call them fail videos, but they're kind of like the worship fail videos where
Yeah.
uh like the probably one of the most widely known ones is the Oceans one where the
Oh,
drummer
dude.
comes in
Yes.
like hot, man, just like and it's like the mellowest song and he just comes in with a vengeance. And it's my favorite thing. I could watch that
You know
over
what that
and
is though?
over.
You looking at that drummer of how much that didn't match the song. That was that prophetic healer guy, and you're leading worship.
Exactly.
You were his drummer.
Exactly.
He's like,
Exactly. That's
he's
why I
like,
love
this
it so
poor
much.
woman is dying in front of me. She will not be healed because of your song choice. Sorry, I'm not roasting you.
I had a drummer dude in Mexico who was awesome. He was a great kid, like young kid, and he was great. Like he was a good drummer, but he was like that kind of level of drummer
Oh
where
gosh,
everything
so
always had to
good.
be like turned up to 10.
Yeah.
And we would literally like I had this day where we were practicing and he was just like going off. Just like the fillers and everything's
Oh,
going. I'm like,
dude.
all right. So I stopped everything. I was like, okay, so on this song, we have these, breaks where we need to mellow it down. And I just need you to follow me and like kind of keep it more mellow and keep it just, trying to not be discouraging, but like give it just pointers to help to the
That's
flow
so
of
good.
everything. And then we did it. So we ran it through again, the exact same thing, all
Oh,
the like
that's so
crazy
good.
fillers and everything. And then I was like, "What happened? I thought you were gonna play it more mellow." And he was like, "Oh, I thought I did." It
Oh
was
god,
like
that's not good.
one of my favorite moments ever. He was like, "Oh, I thought I did."
I did like, no, dude, it was worse.
There's just some dudes that just don't it
Oh, I
just
love it,
there's like
man.
that one mode and in their mind, they think
Oh yeah.
they're tempering it, but it's
That's
still
it, bro.
coming through at like,
That's when you
you
gotta
know.
get those guys, those little sticks? I think they're called hot rods. It's like little
Yes.
reeds in a thing. That's where you
Yep.
gotta give that crazy drummer, the animal drummer, the little hot rods. Then he can go crazy.
That's good.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
though. Yeah, dude, I haven't led worship. Like when I say late, I've led worship like a lot over the years, but like in a
Mhm.
small group or just with me and like our global team from Elam, we're together, whatever. But not like at a church with in ears, a set. You have to know
Yeah.
what you're doing. You got to figure out where you're landing the schedule. So I've gotten up and just led for an hour on my guitar before, just go for it, but not an official like set at worship that or like a church. That would be downright comical if that happened, dude. It would be like, y'all, because here's the deal. First of all, I'm like an ad libber when I
Mhm.
lead worship. So I'll like talk to the congregation, and no one
Mhm.
talks to congregation. They just close their eyes and pray in between songs. Um, and secondly, I'm like a freestyle. I'm like a freestyler, meaning we might have these 5 songs playing. I know this is your style too, man, and also Mom and
Right.
Denise. We might have 5 songs playing, but baby, we might go 1-5 song we didn't practice back to 3, sing the chorus to
Yes.
1. We might have a
Yes.
little un tempo loco. You know what I'm saying? That's for my
I know
Masvita
what you're
tribe that
saying,
are
man.
on right now. Okay, we might go a little crazy, and I think I know for drummers especially, and I mean all the bands that I grew up playing with in worship, I could just
Uh-huh.
look at them, show them what it is, and there was no issue at all with like knowing how to flow. But I know these days drummers and people, the free worship kind of freaks them out a little bit because they haven't practiced it
Yeah.
and they don't know the rhythms of it. But I think it's coming back, man. I think the free worship stuff's going to make a comeback.
Yeah, man. What was I just lost my, train of thought.
You got lost in the
I
glory.
was checking on the on the live stream just now,
Is the
and
live
I
stream
lost my tr
okay?
yeah, the live stream seems like it's doing a lot better, man. It was
Hey, if
just
you
whatever
can like,
happened.
share, and subscribe this thing, thank you so much.
Thank
Please
you.
like, share, and subscribe. Don't be a
Thank you.
goose.
Don't be
Subscribe
a
today.
goose. Subscribe
Or
today.
follow or like, whatever it is on the Facebook channel.
Leave a
Smash
comment,
that
leave a
subscribe
review.
button.
Smash.
Smash subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
So leading
It's
worship,
fun
awesome.
though.
All my worship guys are there. God bless you. Keep on going. But
Mhm.
most worship songs these days produced by the largest churches or bands or groups, most churches don't really have the talent to play them. You have to be really talented to play them. That's why I want to write some
Yeah.
like
They've
simple, dumb worship songs that
yeah.
you can be like learning guitar or piano or something and you can master and do. That's the stuff that I loved that I think
Yeah.
multiplies really well.
Yeah, that's how I came up in it for sure.
Yeah,
One
man.
of the things that I really like to do, and I think I guess this would be something I would say my style kinda thing, is I
Okay.
like to connect songs together as much as possible,
Oh, yeah.
especially when I get into, like, the slow not the slower songs, but the more, you know, like, you do 3 fast songs and 3 slow songs.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
3 slow songs at the end, it's like, yeah, I
They
like
all
to try to
go
keep them in the
together.
same key and just kind of flow from one to the next and then kinda, like,
Yes,
jump
dude.
back to the first one and kinda, like,
Yes.
intermingle the choruses and the tags and that kinda thing, and I like to do that. I guess I do that with the fast songs too. So that's something that I always try to do that at
That's
least
really cool.
a little bit when I would lead a worship set is, like, try to keep some stuff that I could do, like, "Oh, I could drop this into this key, and
Yeah.
then, I could kinda just flow one right into the next and
I like
kinda
that a
just
lot.
keep it rolling." Yeah,
Keep the
big
flow
fan of that.
going. You gotta have a band that understands that style too, can go with
Mhm.
you and flow with you. And I'm hoping that we have that generation of worship leaders and artists and musicians that can also do that again. Because it is a challenging thing, especially with the in. I understand it's not just like their heart and their skill that can
Mhm.
flow. It's also everything so on the in ears with the click track and everything. So when you kind of get out of that, it does kind of mess stuff up. I get
Yeah.
it. It actually does mess up the timing of things. But I think we need to get back there just a little bit, just a little,
Yeah.
yeah. Just a little, you know.
Dude, I hated the click in my ear. I'd be like,
That's why
"Turn
I
that
don't think I
off."
could lead worship these days with,
I'd say,
I
"Turn
don't
it
think I could
off."
do it.
I
My
get the drummer
ADHD, bro,
needs
would
it.
make me
I
go
get
crazy.
it. I'd be like, "I can't do it. I need you to turn that thing off."
Please turn off 1, 2, 3, 4. Chorus 2, 3. I'm like, dude, I'm
And I
done.
couldn't do it, man. I always had to just, like, go with one in ear and the other one open,
Oh, gotcha.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
I'd try to get them to put, like, a good amount of sound, like, in the front, like, the floor monitors,
Oh, that's smart.
because I always felt just so weird, like, when I was just in my head like this,
Yeah,
and I
dude.
would feel disconnected. I don't know, like, I just couldn't do it, which is probably learning to get better at just being comfortable with that. It would have helped me probably for sure, like, sing better.
Sure.
But, I just felt like I needed to be, like, with the audience, and I just felt like
Yes.
when I was, like, trapped in my head, like, I just couldn't connect the
Yes.
same way, so I'd be like, "I'll do 1." For a while, I was like, "Can I just please use the stage monitors?" And they let me do it, and then they were like, "No, we're really trying to move everything to, like, more, like this," and so
Yep.
they let me just do 1, and I was like, "Alright, I can make this
God
work."
bless you
But
guys. Well, bro, you know why? That's because you're a true worship leader. You know what I'm saying? You're not just like a song leader or I'm the guy who leads the song so we can worship together. Those are very different people. So people that are like, we need to play the song that's going
Mhm,
to get us into an atmosphere of worship or help others
mhm,
worship. That's one style. And that's like you're fully locked into the in-ears in your band and the sound you're producing is helping that worship environment. But I think a true worship leader, though, you need that pulse on the people
mhm.
and the your band and the what the spirit's saying and where the song's going, and to kind of be trapped in your little headphone. It's hard to do all of
Yeah,
that. You're missing out on one of those when you're only on your earbuds. You know.
yeah. Yeah, and there's probably people that are way more skilled that can do
Oh, sure.
both,
There's the
that can do
ringers,
it,
or they've done it for
but
a
I
decade and they
just
can do it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
but yeah, dude, welcome back to the podcast. Like, it's
Thank you,
been I
bro.
don't know
It's been
why
a
my
minute.
voice just cracked just then.
Hey.
But welcome back to Real Life Talk, Alex Seidler.
It's good
So
to be
you
back,
were
sir.
on episode 1 with me, bro. You were the first episode
Oh,
of this
praise
podcast.
God. And what episode is this,
Like,
young man?
this is 184,
Oh
I
my
think.
goodness,
It's
dude.
been almost 3 years, and it's taken me this long to get you back.
That's awesome. Well, I'm on a 3-year booking cycle, so every 3 years I pop
Yeah.
up at places, so I'll
Yeah,
see
the
you in
last time you were on,
2027.
COVID was doing great last time you were here.
Oh, was it? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
I was
dude.
still buying Dogecoin last time you were on.
Oh, Dogecoin. You know what? Sadly, man, real talk, I still had a ton from the last time it was cycling. I bought it like 5 cents before, I think.
Mhm.
And I just transferred. I just sold it last week or 2 weeks ago
Oh,
and
yeah?
put it into something else. And now it's like Dogecoin is skyrocketing. Like, of course that would happen. It would
Yeah.
only happen to good old Uncle Alex.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you held it for a long time?
Oh yeah, I've been holding it since. So I put money in when it was first going crazy.
Yeah.
And then at the top, I think the top it was like 78 cents or I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't
Got up
sell it
there.
to top. That's hard to do. But I sold it and all the money I put in, I took out. And then I still had
Mhm.
a money left over. So I didn't so as far as like an investment, it wasn't like I had pure cash into it right now. I got my money that I put in already.
Yeah.
But that's what happens, man. You take it out, then it goes up, and then when it's at the bottom, you sell, you get scared, and then you lose all your money. So
Mhm.
looks like it's
Yeah.
gonna be ramen for us this month. We live by Dogecoin every week. I'm like, how much do we eat today?
I'll tell you, man, it's, gambling with your kids' college fund is,
Bro, hello.
not for the faint of heart.
No, dude.
I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, so but honestly though, yeah, it's been to think that we talked 3 years ago on this thing is crazy.
Mhm.
That seems like decades ago in my brain and mind. So
Yeah, man.
lots going
Yeah.
on.
Lots happened since then, and you
Yeah.
are dude, you've entered, fatherhood
Yeah,
since
so we have
then,
two little
right?
guys with us right now, two little men, 3 and soon to be 2, and
Mhm.
they're brothers. They're in foster with us right now, and then we're moving towards adoption with both of them, which is really exciting. So one is like official. The youngest is like official. We're in process with the state of Pennsylvania with adoption, which is amazing. We're very
Yeah,
excited. And then the oldest one, it's not like it's adoption's being worked out right now, but the way that he's going is probably this year. We're believing that it's going to be an official adoption with New York State. So
that's
that's
so
been
cool, man.
amazing though. That just dropped. That just from the Lord dropped into our laps in summer of 22, I believe. So June of 2022 is when our oldest was with us, and then May of this past year, his younger brother came to us full time as well. So they're out right now with Jody. I was like, you need to get these kids out of that. I'm going to talk to Duke and have a moment of silence. You need to get these little rascals out of the house, man. So they're at a park somewhere going crazy, I bet.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
That's been
That's
the
so
best thing
cool.
ever, bro. I'm telling you what, man. Like we've been trying to start a family for 12 years, 13 years, something like that. We were married for
Wow.
15. And so we've been battling infertility stuff and all that. So it's like it's been this
Mm,
really, really, really long journey of being like, okay, obviously we want to start a family. We want to start a family 13 years ago. So we're trying to just pray it through and talk to doctors and figure stuff out. And so we realized, okay, the only way we're really going to start a family is through adoption. And so
mhm,
we were going this one route with this one organization in Buffalo. They're awesome, and we praise God for it. But then these two little guys literally came out of nowhere. So it wasn't like through the adoption process that we got approved for. This is from
mm.
a friend of a friend of a friend came down through the pipeline, and we were able to connect with these little guys and their family and whatnot.
Wow,
So it's been amazing, dude.
that's incredible, bro. Well,
Yeah, so we're very
congratulations, man.
thanks, dude. It's awesome. They're all they obviously we travel and preach for our job, so they love traveling with us. They love watching mommy preach, watching daddy preach. They love meeting new people. So they have
Yeah,
like the countenance and personality to go to places that are new and be brave and meet new people all the time. So they're an absolute blessing to us, and they fit right into kind of what our family's all about, you know.
yeah, bro. That's so cool. That's so cool. I just imagine, like, you as a dad, and it just blows my mind, like,
Oh,
because
it's
I feel
silliness.
like I feel like you're just an amazing dad. I don't know, man.
I'm the best. I didn't want to say it. This is from our
Yeah.
oldest world's best farter. I mean father. That's how it's going right
Fa
now, baby.
Fata, the f
Father. Um
Fata. Just say it,
no,
bro.
it's I mean I've someone once said when you get married you realize how selfish you are, and then when you
Mhm.
have kids you realize how angry you are. And so I feel like I've grown the most. Even though these
Uh-huh.
boys have grown, our marriage has grown. I feel like I personally have had to face stuff with my own expectations, my own personal life, my own stuff. Things that it's one of those areas where it's like you have stuff you have stuff that's down, but you're not stuffing it, but it's just kind of under the surface down there.
Mhm.
I'm sure fathers all around the world that are watching this could agree. But it's just something about having kids and two toddlers, and it just brings out stuff in me that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't felt this in a long time or ever. Like I feel really anxious, or I feel really
Mm.
angry or really frustrated, or so it's like in the amount of ministry stuff we do, it doesn't hit me like that. It doesn't, even though we're dealing with chaos in ministry world, like
Yeah.
absolute insanity at all times, but it doesn't hit me the same way. So I feel like, man, we've loved raising up these boys and add them to our family, and we can't wait to lock them in
Mhm.
officially in adoption. But I also feel like the Lord has done a great discipleship unearthing process on my own heart, and really humbly allowed me to come before him and be like, okay, God, I need you to go deep on me, because
Yeah.
the stuff that you need to do in me to help me become a better father, I want to make sure that I'm transferring and multiplying that to these boys in the next generation, So
Yes.
I love being a daddy, but also I'm getting schooled, baby, and I love it.
Yeah, man. I I remember one of the, excuse me. Getting choked up listening to you
Oh
talk
my
about your
gosh.
kids. No, I remember one of the most, just like for me personally, one of the most profound experiences that I've had with the Lord was recently after my first son was born. He's 13 now.
Oh my
So
goodness. Wow.
that's crazy, dude.
Come on, dude.
He's a
Yeah.
teenager. It's nuts.
Yeah. Whoa.
Um, but he's a great dude. He's a great kid. But when he was right after he was born, I went through this season of time in my walk with the Lord where he was wanting to get at the area of my heart of just like trusting him, trusting him with my
Mm.
family, really with at the time my wife and my newborn son.
Yeah.
And it was just like trusting him with something new that I was experiencing in my life that I obviously I'd never had a kid before. And you go through these phases, you go through everybody's on a different track with the Lord, but you go through these phases. Like for me, it was trusting God, probably back in the Elam days, it was like trusting God with my future in terms of, putting
Mm.
my future in his hands and saying, Lord,
Yes.
I'm willing to allow you to lead me what to do next, and just learning how to say yes to the Lord and
That's
what he
good.
would have me do and that sort of thing. And then it's like, I remember when we were on the mission field in Mexico and it was just me and Denise, and it was very much like learning how to trust God with finances, learning how to trust God
Yeah.
like when there are no finances, learning how to trust God just to make it. And he was so
Yeah.
faithful through all of it. And then it was like I felt like in this season, I was doing good in my walk with the Lord in terms of trust, that trust
Yeah.
factor of, living by faith and that sort of thing. And then my son was born, and I went to this place in my mind where I was just very much like, I need to be the protector of my family. I need to be the provider of my
Gotcha. Yeah.
family. And there's an aspect of that there's probably some truth to, but not submitted to the lordship of Jesus, even the best things in life can get very unbalanced and very
Yeah.
unhealthy and dangerous. And so I was at this place in my mind where I felt very much like that. And one day the Lord confronted me and he was like, "Hey, I want this. I want this aspect of your heart. I want this
Wow.
aspect of your trust." And it was something new for me. And I was like, "No, God, I'm not giving that to you." And it took him, he worked on me, and I went through this process with the Lord for the next week or so where he was taking me to places in scripture. Like he was so kind with me in that season to show me
Yes.
what it was that I was missing out on by
Wow.
refusing to surrender that aspect of my life to him.
Wow.
And when he finally brought me to that place of understanding and kind of seeing it for what it was, I was like, I kind of made this resolve in my heart that said, okay, God, this is just the next step of saying to you, I want more of you. I want what you want for me and for my family, no matter what the cost, no matter what it costs me, because at the end of the day, you're the thing that matters to me the most.
Dude, that's so good.
And it's just like that's just like one example I think of like when you enter into the realm of fatherhood, how the Lord just kind of begins to show you different aspects of how his kingdom works, that you might
Yeah.
not see from a different perspective.
That's
And
so
it's just
good,
like one
man.
of the more profound just moments that I've had with God,
Yes.
just where I knew like his kindness in that season. And I knew that
Oh,
even
so
though I
good.
was kind of like even being like rebellious to a point in my mind, he
Yeah.
was so like right there with me to say, no, like I don't just want something out of you. I don't want you to just
Wow.
like blindly hand something over to me because I'm cruel. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like this is gonna make you free. Like
Ooh,
this is gonna bring you into greater
yes.
freedom if you'll hand this over to me.
Come on, man. That's so good. The scariest thing is when we go through seasons of stuff, not realizing the Lord's just always after something in us, and he is a kind gentleman. You know what I'm saying? He's not this demanding. I don't think he makes us go through really hard times because he wants to punish us or he wants to, he's like that overbearing father who's like, "Yo, you
100%.
need to you need to toughen up." I don't think he's like that, but he'll take all of our seasons and in that allow little crumbs and little pieces that lead us back to the heart of the Father. And the kindness of God, dude, like you said, is the most beautiful thing that you can experience. I love the strength of God, the miracles of God, the supernatural, the stuff
Yeah.
that just like, wow, this is great. Like this is I love all that stuff, all
Yeah.
the flash stuff. But to me, it's the kind, slow to anger, gentle mercy.
Mhm.
The ongoing those moments, because that's more like all those high moments are far and few in between. The rest of my life is just encountering a loving father whose arms are
Yeah.
open. There's a seat at the table, and he's not on his phone. He's like giving me full attention. It's like he's right there with me.
Yeah.
And that's so good, man. Yeah, fatherhood
Yeah.
is very special, and it's definitely changing my heart time and time again. It's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love I love that, the kindness of the Lord. I think that we see, like, so many examples of it in scripture. One that I really like is just, like, the simple thing with, Thomas, where,
Mm,
we always come down hard on Thomas for doubting,
Tommy, come
but,
on.
like, come on, bro, doubting Thomas, but Jesus was I just feel like it was such a moment of just displaying the kindness of God to him, where he's like, "Hey, put your hands in the yeah, touch the holes in my hands.
Yep.
Put your hand in my." It was like the kindness of, like, not writing him off, not writing
So
somebody
good.
off because they didn't, ascend to that level of faith
Yes.
in the moment. And I'm just so grateful for that, bro, because
Oh my
there's been
gosh.
so many times where I've just not,
Yes.
ascended to that level, or where I've missed it, I've blown it, I've missed the mark, I've
Yes.
whatever. And I just he's just so good. He's so
Come
good.
on, dude. And then, bro, as leaders, how do we then lead and multiply that same heart we're getting from our Father? Because we don't want to be that servant who was forgiven the debt of $10 billion, and then somebody owes us $5 on the street and we like
Yes.
strangle them. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to be leaders or raise up leaders or have churches or discipleship movements of people that are encountering this great God and then
Yeah.
absolutely trash. 'Cause I've also seen that and been around that, and that's just like, dude, how are we worshiping the same Jesus if like
Mm.
you're coming away and you're not quite getting the transfer. You're getting all the slow to anger and patient and kindness,
Mhm.
but then when it comes to you then leading people, that somehow gets like rearranged and
Yeah.
doesn't transfer out of you. And it's like, dude, what God is doing in you, of course, He wants to do through you. What God is doing in transforming you
Mm.
within your life, He doesn't want
Good.
that just to stay with you. He doesn't want you to be a reservoir that doesn't have life flowing in and out of it. He's designed us for that transfer, not just to be a dammed up lake. He wants
Yes.
us to pour out. And so I think as leaders too, man, as we're talking, this is a great topic to talk about, encountering the father heart of God. If that
Mm.
that that the easiest transfer is to your family. That's maybe what a lot of people do. That's very easy. Of like, man, I'm getting wrecked about being a dad, and I want to be a better father to my boys, to be a better husband to my wife, and that's one
Yes.
thing. That's an easy transfer. But then to the environment around you, to leaders you see every day, to coworkers, to other pastors, other movements, how are you now demonstrating and allowing that same grace and that same love to now multiply to the world around you? Jesus said, He
Bro,
said, they'll know you are Christians by our love. And so it's like,
love.
man, that's a massive thing right now in the world. They're tired of Christianity in broad strokes, because
Mhm.
Christianity in broad strokes, they're realizing, oh, so you guys are kind of just like us. You're having affairs, you're embezzling money,
Wow.
you're just doing, what I'm saying? Like they're tired of that nonsense.
Mhm.
They need to know that we are Christians by our love. They need to know that we are brothers and sisters, that we are something different.
Yes.
And it's not because we're going to say that we're different. It truly has to be demonstrated, man. So I pray that
Yeah.
we all allow that transfer to come into us and then also through us at the same moment.
That's so good, bro. I really believe that one of the things God is really just passionate about right now, always, but just something that I just really sense on the heart of God is, like, bringing us into the revelation of family. Like, that
Mm,
as the body of Christ, as the people of God, like, we're actually family. That we're
I
bringing
like that.
people
Yes.
into not just a movement, but into the actual family of God, and that's
I
on His
like
heart.
that.
And the thing that I think about the most these days, like, the thing that I'm thinking about the most is servant leadership. Like, how do we effectively serve
Oh,
people? And I think that so much of the picture of leadership that we've been given And I'm not
Yeah,
just, like, pointing at the church, I think in general, like,
yeah,
so much of the picture of leadership we've been given is that we have to like, that a good leader is, like, hard and firm and strong and,
yeah,
like, has, like, all these requirements and all this kinda stuff, and, of course, there's a level of leadership that does require people to come up and to, walk with
yeah,
you and to do better, to advance, all of that. But it's like, tempering that as you're talking about with the father heart of God, and it's like recognizing that when we serve or when we lead from a place of being willing to serve and actually like lay our lives down for
yes,
somebody else, for the people that we're leading, that
bro.
they're not a
Yeah,
means to an end. Like we don't have these
that's
people
so
that we're
good.
leading that are helping us, cast vision or helping us advance the vision
Yes,
or whatever, that it's never like at the expense of the people that have partnered with us. It's for them.
yes.
It's to be like with them, to serve, to honor, to value, to esteem, to
Come on,
demonstrate
man,
the love of God.
bro.
And
That's it.
it's like the thing that I'm just thinking about these days the most lately, cuz as you said, I agree with you 100% that the the world, I think the church needs to see it too. The world definitely needs to see it, that expression of the love of the Father,
Yes,
you know? And I
yes.
think it's something we've gotta fight for. It's something we have to,
Oh, dude.
I think, recognize that, like, this is needed. Like, this is
Yes.
needed, and we've gotta be intentional about.
It's the Christian leadership these days, and to me, I don't wanna knock the CEO, John Maxwell type. I don't wanna knock that at all because
Sure.
I read those books and I like it. But
Mhm.
it's gotten so off track from the very baseline of what scripture teaches and what
Mm.
godly Christian leadership. It's kinda mingled in with a bunch of Fortune 500 stuff, and that,
Yeah.
in my mind, what that creates is power hungry, cult like pastors. And
Wow.
that is how they get their
Whew.
churches big and their damage bigger. And so I'm like, man, so
Wow.
I'm praying now, like, Jesus, help me to become. In Mark 5, in Mark 10, Jesus says to his disciples, he tells this story. He's like, listen, he says, I'll read it. It's in Mark 10, verse 42. You know that those are recognized as rulers of Gentiles lord it over them, and their great men exercise authority over them. But it shouldn't be this way among you. But whoever wishes to become the greatest among you shall be your
Mm.
servant.
Come
And
on.
he whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For even the Son of
Mhm.
Man did not come to be served, but to serve
To serve.
and to give his life for the ransom of many.
Come
And the
on.
point being this: nothing's beneath you in leadership if you're at the very bottom. If you're like, I'm here to help you launch into your assignment, to help you become greater. But sadly, we have a
Mhm.
style of church leadership that makes it, I'm at the top and everything else is beneath me. And
Mhm.
so I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. And then we wonder why, man, how could these I'm not going to throw out any names about, International House of Pancakes or anything. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but you got to think to yourself, how could these leaders of
You
40
just tricked
flip
the
in?
algorithm there,
Oh yeah,
but
must be
you
the
just tricked it.
no. How, how could leaders for 40 plus years be so siloed that no one
Yes.
is calling them out? And it's not just pancakes, it's so many leaders across the board. And you have to understand it's because we're not using this reference, one of many from like Mark
Mm.
10, which is like, be a leader that serves, be a leader that, like in golf, the illustration is you hit down on the ball so the
Mm.
ball pops up. A lot of people in golf, if you want to hit it high, a lot of people think you got to scoop under and go under.
Mm.
You got to go under. No, it's not it. You come down on the ball and the ball pops up. And it's counterintuitive. That's why a lot of people don't
Wow.
like golf because they come from baseball. And so they're trying to scoop the ball. You got to come down on it because the way the
I didn't know that.
golf club is angled, when you come down on a swooping motion, the golf club does the work. You just
Mhm.
you just swing right. And in Christian leadership, it's the same way. It feels so counterintuitive, but down is up. You serve,
Wow.
you lead with grace, you lead with kindness and humility, not lording over people and bossing people and be the Fortune 500 CEO and all that. All that
Yeah.
I haven't seen I don't wanna say I haven't seen. I've seen more toxic fruit from that style of leadership than a
Yeah.
classic Christian servant, down is up style leadership. How low can I go? Not how high can I ascend? It's completely counterintuitive because the Fortune 500 model
Mhm.
is get that interview, hit your marks, make sure people see it's your idea, make blah blah blah, 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 yo, and then you ascend the totem pole. And man, in some of these movements that are like very, I'm not going to say names,
Mhm.
high famous church planning movements
Sure, sure.
and people that you can be associated with a network, and they're growing the largest churches. They say they're the fastest to do it. And then a few years later, you realize, oh, that dude had an affair with his secretary and blah, blah, blah. And it
Yeah.
all is nonsense, dude. Because it's forgetting the basic principle of what we're talking about, which is
Mm.
servant leadership, receiving the heart of Abba, letting it transform you, and then creating healthy cultures where that thing is
Yes.
demonstrated, the leaders you raise up. So, how can how can certain campus leaders and certain leaders in movements be going buck wild and no one's calling them out? Well, then you realize the global senior leader is also going buck wild and running around. So accountability, when there's nothing at the top and it's a top-down structure, it's gonna be absolute chaos of
Yeah.
little cracks rippled throughout the organization. When you come in at the bottom and you're saying, Lord, build through my death, build through me laying down my life.
Wow.
It's not how high can I go,
Wow.
and it's you're saying, God, use me and kill me and drive me into the ground and allow me to become that seed that goes into the ground and dies so that
Yeah.
there might be light. That's a different style of
Yes.
leadership, bro. That doesn't grow flashy, but it grows true kingdom, man. And so I'm not officially launching it yet,
Mhm.
but I'm in dialogues with people about starting to plant churches across the East Coast, that this is a
Dude.
main core element about it. The main core element is not how big can we get this church, but
Yes.
it's how many leaders can we grow? How do we reach this community? How do we make disciples that will follow Jesus, not follow a man who's a cult leader and everyone likes him and he needs to preach on Sunday, or we're not going to. No, no. How do we develop authentic communities where the kingdom is flourishing and absolutely exploding? So, more to
Yes.
come on that, bro. But this first things first, we need to get this thing saturated into us about servant leadership, dude.
That's so good, dude.
Rawr.
Oh my goodness, that's so good.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to write a worship song and punch a satellite pastor. No, I'm joking.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, man, that style of leadership where it's, somebody at the top and then it's a top-down format, it's like we create it's like I end up being insulated, so that
Yeah,
we do lose, as you said, we lose that accountability
yeah,
structure. And I do think, I mean, it's crazy because today when we look at the quote unquote like the business of the church, like the aspect of leading a team and leading volunteers and leading people and having all these
yeah,
structures in place in order to be able to do that. Obviously, a lot of that, at least in the current format and structure that a lot of churches operate under, a lot of that is so necessary
yeah,
to have like those systems and structures in place. But I wonder like how often we are, and this is just an example because this could be with anything, but how often we are, serving the spirit of excellence, or we are, and I believe in operating from a spirit of excellence in all that we do, big or small, whatever. I think that we
yeah.
should we should strive for excellence. But when we elevate that or anything
Oh, that's good.
above,
Yeah,
what Jesus has called us to, or above the person of
yeah,
Jesus himself, we can make anything into an idol, and we
correct.
can begin to idolize anything. We can begin to idolize the worship service. We can begin to
Yeah,
idolize the good preaching of the word, because like when we make it about that, I mean, it's
correct.
good. Like I'm all about striving for excellence. I'm into it. Preach the
Yep,
best message you can preach, get help. If you want to be better at preaching, like take some classes, study to show thyself approved. Like I'm
yeah,
into it. But we can very much like we can make that the thing. We can make that the goal, And
Correct.
then I think we get into a place of, idealizing or idolizing the wrong thing,
Yeah.
and where Jesus is no longer like our central like focal point that's holding it all together.
Yes.
And so, yeah, man, like when we look at Jesus, when we look at his style of leadership, he's in life, like he's in the trenches with people, like he's doing the stuff, like he's
Yeah.
there with people. He's washing his disciples' feet
Mhm.
on the night that he's gonna be betrayed.
He gets us, bro. He gets us.
He
Sorry.
gets us, bro.
Appreciate it.
Hashtag he gets us.
Hashtag dude gets us.
Hashtag
That's the
all
name
of
of this
us.
episode.
I love it. I actually did an episode on that called "He
Did
Gets
you?
Us."
Oh, watch it,
Yeah,
man.
I talked about it because
No, what you're saying
because
is
I
very
was just
true.
annoyed at all the like, you know,
Yeah.
the
Oh, people
fighting
had
about it.
very, very extreme views on it.
Yeah,
I was like, what? It's okay.
yeah, it's alright.
It's better than demonic halftime shows. Come on, let's get excited, people. Dude, I've been preaching when I've been preaching this message about spectator Christianity and
Mm,
how it needs to go and how like we've developed it's not the sheep's problem, it's the shepherd's problem.
wow.
We've developed church cultures that create spectators, and then we yell at them for being spectators, and then we have to create systems to literally make them feel like they're a
Oh,
part of the thing. So what I
dude,
use I
100%.
oh bro, I preach it so hard, and I think people in the congregation like it, but then I look at the lead pastors just to make sure that they're not like wanting to
This
kill me.
this
So
dude's never
I
coming
just
back.
call it out. I just call it
Never
out
g
on how like we're busy trying to stimulate you into thinking you're a part of something that you're actually not, rather than activate you and mobilize you for
Wow.
the exact thing that God has you for. So we have a few people doing all the ministry and trying to
Mhm.
create systems to make all the people feel like they're a part of what the church is doing. And it's just
That's
not true,
crazy,
man.
dude.
It's not the church is moving away from a place where Jesus is glorified and gifts are released and community is formed. It's moving away from that into it's a place where I go where Jesus is glorified and I get to see what's happening and hear what's happening and then talk to my same three people that I see every Sunday. It's like
Mm,
it's losing the essence. And I
mhm.
think what I first shared on one of my rant, it's tied together. That's why I'm saying I'm not ready to launch something officially. It's stuff is just marinating in my heart in a big way. But I
Mhm.
think the way that we're doing church is directly tied to creating these spectator type churches where there aren't disciples being made, there aren't gifts being activated, and then we wonder why I thought we were going to transform our city for Christ, or I wonder why we're not sending missionaries anymore. I wonder why we're not getting youth assistant leaders like we used to back in the day. It's because
Yeah.
we've changed something to just make them feel like they're a part of it, dude. It's
Yeah.
why the reason it's the reason why I'm sure your kids when they were little or now, Duke, it's the reason why kids love to watch other kids play with toys on YouTube. It's the same phenomenon. Doctors have studied
Wow.
it. So my kid, he'll own like this little giraffe here. Um, he'll hold this giraffe in his hand and he'll watch a kid on YouTube play with the same giraffe and he'll start weeping and saying, I want to play with the giraffe, daddy. I want to play with the giraffe. And it's like, dude, look what's in your hand, man. And
Wow.
so what happens is their brain starts to chemically change to want to watch someone else play with the giraffe so they feel satisfied. And
Mm.
so and we've done the same thing in the church. We're letting everybody else kind of watch us, the few ministers, do our dance and our
Dude.
shuffle, and it's literally reprogramming their brain to think I'm also doing that, but it's not true at all, man. And
Wow.
what we need to do as ministers, we need to say, look what's in your hand. So that's what I preach on. That's how I land the preaching time. As I say, stop looking at the stage, wishing you had what they had. Start looking what's in your hand because God's giving you something and you're clutching it and holding it, watching someone else with that same gift be on stage, and you're just saying, "Why do I want to play with giraffe? I want to." And God's saying, "Dude, if you just activated and looked at what's in your hand and stepped out, forget the
Yeah, man.
stage. Don't think that gets only for the stage. You can use your gifts in many different circumstances." So Dude, I think I'm not ready.
bro.
I love mega churches. I love Arc. I love all the
Mhm.
churches that are like Starbucks now. It just feels the same. You go into any church, it's all the dark lights on the I listen, I love it, okay? I'm not hating on that at all. People are
Sure.
encountering Jesus. But bro, I think I like your son's generation, Generation Alpha, and Gen Z, the
Sure.
generation above him, bro, they don't
Mhm.
want that. They're done with that. I think they're realizing I that style of church is maybe driven towards millennials and maybe Gen Xers, and I think there's a generation coming that wants a broken down church. Not
Yeah.
meaning we don't need all the stuff to make us feel something. We want real community. Like you said, we want real, authentic community and
Yep.
connection with people and to be
Yep.
activated in our giftings, man.
Yeah, dude.
So get ready.
Oh my gosh.
Arr!
For real, bro. When you said that, that really that hit me so hard. It's okay, so here's where this gets it can get even more twisted when you take into account that there's a lot of leaders that probably want it to stay that way because
Yes,
they like the idea of having to be looked at even if it's not if it's not a conscious thing, it might just be a subconscious thing, but the shift that's taken place where it's spectator Christianity, where dude, that picture you gave of like you have the same thing. Like you
come
can
on.
go out and lay your hands on the sick and they'll be healed. Like you can go out and you can speak a word in season and change somebody's life. Like you can actively transform your city. You don't have to depend on a preacher or a pastor or a
Correct.
missionary or a leader. Like you don't have to depend on that. Like you have that in you. You have the same
Correct.
spirit of Jesus within you. The same resurrection power of Jesus is in you, and so it's operating in the capacity of what God has placed within you,
Yes.
not looking to somebody else. But I think unfortunately there's a lot of leaders who would like, you know, who like to kind of have that and I hate to use the C word, but to have that control
Ooh.
of of saying like I
Yes,
want them to be reliant or dependent on my gifts of the spirit
bro,
instead of, walking in their own
bro,
gifts of the spirit, or you know what I'm saying?
bro.
And
Don't
that's
even
where it
get
gets
me
really
started,
twisted.
bro. Don't even get me started,
Don't
dude.
even get me started.
Here's the
Yeah.
I mean, I could share 1,000 things about that, but I'm like that's like my like my buzzword, bro. But
Mhm.
so many churches right now are budget driven, not vision driven, meaning
Mm.
how much can we grow when we're still financially stable versus how much can we grow and our nets start to break from the harvest that's coming in, but the
Yeah.
kingdom's being multiplied. Many churches these days, if the harvest would come in at the same way when the disciples threw their nets over and the nets started to break, so many churches would kind of just be like, all right, that's enough. All right, no, reel it in because we don't want it to break our nets, meaning your finances,
Your
budgets,
system. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
expectations, leaders' capacity.
Systems.
So it's
Mhm.
all about the control thing. So the greater the leader, the greater their arms can stretch. They're a 5 talent leader, so they're given more, but it's they still have capacity. They still
Yes.
have they can only hold so much. And the churches that are growing the most, the leaders are controlling the least, guaranteed, guaranteed, not like
Hmm.
calculated growth, like the Fortune 500 growth. There's growth where it's like, dude, I just told someone last week, I was like, I think a lot of our church models, I think like non-believers could come in that are really good business people and run our churches,
100%.
and like things would still grow because it's about messaging and branding and blah blah blah. And blah. It's like it's like there's ways to do. You can kind of do it now. It's
Yeah.
been hacked. Like you know how to do it. But dude, an authentic move of God in your city, in your nation, in your country, in your town, in your area, in your neighborhood, that's something that you can't calculate, but you have to say, God, how do we? That's visionary. What can we do that's going to reach people in a fresh way? That's going to see an expression of the kingdom in a way we've never even seen before. So I'm not anti big church. I'm not anti church calculation growth plans. I have growth plans. Like I'm not
Sure.
anti that. But when all your eggs are in that basket and you become a cookie cutter, meaning,
Mm.
hey, what's working in Texas, Duke? Oh yeah, let's just do that in Cali. Let's do that in Jersey. Let's do that in Florida. When you're just branding and finalizing and sending it to print and sending it around. That's not to me, that's lazy, bro. That's lazy
Yes.
pioneering. And we need people that are seeking the heart of God, that are really asking the Lord to do something authentic in their area, in their region.
Mm-hmm.
Get them together and see this thing pop off, bro.
That's good, man. That's good.
So
Yeah, I
we're gonna
mean, we can
meet at
take
123 Main Street. Okay, tonight. We're gathering, bro. Bring your pitchforks and Bibles. We're gonna
pitchforks
raid.
and
We're
Bibles.
gonna we're gonna raid the kingdom of darkness. We're not gonna start a
Yeah.
24-hour prayer room. That's been done. We're going 23 hours.
23 hours.
Yeah.
So you close for lunch or what?
Yeah, we just take a little siesta. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This is from my Mas Vita folks. We're taking a little siesta between
That's
11 p.m. and midnight. Eat some tacos, call some family, do a Facebook Live, use the restroom if you need to.
mm-hmm.
We don't want to do what's already been done.
It's really making my day that every time you say something in Spanish, it's like the Mas Vida folks.
Mas
It's not
Vita,
just
Mas
like
Vita. I'm trying to get the algorithm. I'm a
it-
comedian. I'm a comedian that has ADHD, and so
mhm.
once I find the thing that's for the day or the
Yeah.
conversation, there's gonna be so many
It
callbacks to that very
it
thing.
all roads lead back to it.
All roads lead to happiness, my guy.
Alex is just like Joe Rogan, Mas Vida, Trump, Biden, like all this stuff
All
that
the buzzwords to get the
that draws
algorithm
attention.
to send it out, baby.
Yeah. We're gonna break the internet.
International. I was thinking about this the other day. I was laughing so hard. I was like, with all the IHOP stuff going on, and my Twitter feed is just all IHOP stuff right now. I was
Mhm.
like, how confused must like the agnostic IHOP social media person be right now? Like
Mhm.
of pancakes, international house of
Right. Yeah.
pancakes. That all
Yeah.
the
He's
hashtag
super
like every
confused.
day they wake up and they're like, "What did our president do?" Like,
Hmm.
why are people so angry and calling out our? I'm like, I met Tim last week. He's a great guy. He's just passionate about syrup. I'm like, you must be so confused.
Why is everybody hating on IHOP so much?
People are like, I
I
was there
love
for
that
10
place.
years, and I like they're reading through their Twitter feed, all their mentions with all these like long stories. They're like, oh wow. They should really talk to HR.
That's
I'm
so
not
good.
sure. I'm not sure
I
if
hadn't
you're
thought
able
about
to
that.
or you'd want to, but I have some really good people that have been at IHOP that I'm
Mhm.
not sure if you'd want that of like, hey, let's talk about stuff, what's going on. But I could hook you up offline with some people I think that would probably be willing to come on and talk it through and share some stuff and talk things through a little bit. So not in a
Yeah.
gossipy way, but in like a
Yeah.
here's what's going on, this is the issue.
Yeah.
So I'll leave
I'd
that up
love
to you.
I
And
would
not
I would love
not the
to.
house
I
of
would love
prayer. I'm
to.
talking about the house of pancakes.
Yes. We gotta get we need that inside scoop, man, on those
Here's
pancakes.
Betty, and Betty loves butter. She's gonna tell you all of that. No, I'll send you some names of people.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh. So, bro, I don't know how much time you have. I didn't ask you, so I
It's the
don't know if you're running
nicest
out of
day of the
time.
year. I need to go power wash my deck again. I love you. Have we been gone? Is this an hour already? An hour is good,
We
right?
we've gone a little over an hour. Frank
Oh,
Laporta,
dude.
I missed something with all this IHOP conversation. Okay, we'll talk, buddy. We don't
Hey,
have time to get
Laporta,
into it right now.
first get right with Christ, okay? Then we'll talk about IHOP, okay?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what? You have no,
Frank
well, there's no Bible in your house, dude. You shouldn't be asking these questions, okay? Find yourself a Bible, head to an iglesias, shout out Masvita.
Mhm.
And then, we'll stop following the Cowboys, these
Well, I
horrible,
was gonna say Frank is a
horrible,
great sport for
emaciated
being on
fans.
here with these 2 Giants fans and,
Oh, dude, get out of these
keeping the
DMs,
comment
Laporta.
section
Get
alive.
out of these DMs. No, I love him, man. I grew up with him, right?
I j
At Blue
Oh,
Mountain
yeah, dude, I
Christian
forgot
Retreat,
about
bro.
that. I
Yeah,
forgot
like
about that.
obviously we weren't like neighbors like that, but we
Yeah.
grew up at the same Christian retreat. So
Yeah, I was
I love
thinking
him
you
and his
just met
family a
when we
lot.
met at Elam, but yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy to be a Cowboys fan in New Jersey. I mean, I have family that's Cowboys fans, so never mind. I
No, it is, man.
probably shouldn't have said that.
North Jersey too. It's all like Giants, some Jets, but it's mainly
Yeah.
all Giants, bro.
And then the Lord sent me to Texas to be a light in the darkness and show
Help us,
these
Lord.
Cowboys fans
Yeah,
what
bro. You want to talk
real
mission field? Let's talk about what you're doing there, Bubs. Okay. Giants fan in the abyss.
I know.
Well, dude,
It's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
Why don't we stop now and then just don't wait 3 years to try to get me back on? Maybe we'll make it like 2 years. We can pick up right where we left off.
Well, I spent about a year asking you to come back on, and then I just gave up.
Well,
And then you
bro,
were
my
like,
life's my
and then
life's transitioning.
I got
Hey,
Mrs. Alex Seidler on. I got
did
Jody
you get
on, and that
Jody
was
on?
yeah, but it was like 2 years ago. It was a while
Oh,
ago.
okay. I was like,
I don't know if it
dude,
was
I
that
don't know
long
how you
ago,
got her, dude.
but
Um,
it was awesome, dude.
no, we can do it this
She's
year at
fantastic.
some point, even the next couple months, because my life, Jody and I are transitioning from leading global ministers at Elam, launching
Yeah,
fully into the Gateway Project, missions organization that's sending 100 teams. That's our goal. Sending 100 teams to the least reached, most strategic cities in the world, all with
yeah.
unreached people groups around them. So we're launching into that. And then because of that, then our schedules aren't as they're still gonna be crazy, but they're not as crazy. We'll still be based out of the States, taking trips into Thailand and other nations and go to conferences and visiting
Mm,
teams. But we'll have a little bit more room in our schedule, our everyday life for stuff like this too. So you'll be able to get me in,
yeah.
baby.
Come on, man, let's do it.
Don't
Because I really
worry.
do wanna talk to you about the Gateway project. I remember
Ding
Jody
dong.
talked about it when we were on
Good.
the
Yeah, yeah.
podcast. It was, like, very, like, early days of it, I think, and
Yeah.
it was my favorite thing. Like, I was so pumped about it, and I'm stoked to just see what God's
Oh,
gonna
dude, it's
do
nuts.
through you
So
guys, and
we have like 30
it's
plus
crazy.
staff right now.
Dude,
We're in
that's
two
nuts.
gateway cities. So like, and I've been doing this full time also. So it's not like I've been doing global and some of it. It's like I founded and we launched the organization back in like late 2019 and officially
Mhm,
launched our first team in 2022. But it's like this thing's been going, and it's at a point now where it's like there are no full time stateside staff to help. We have
okay.
like 5 families that want to get launched to sit. It's like absolutely out of control. So even the fact of our transition and our timing, we see God all over it because it's like, man, we believe now is the time that God wants to awaken the global church all around, not just the US, all around the world,
Hmm,
where the gospel has already taken hold, to wake them up and to realize there's still places that are in total darkness that need the ball pushed down the field to send workers there. And so that's what the Gateway Project is all about, man. We're not like short-term trips. We're not like, oh yeah, let's do a short-term 1-year project. We want to plant long-term teams in these cities and then unite the
mm,
church and get them also awakened in the area to go into the villages and reach these unreached people groups, man. 60, I just read a stat the other day that shook me. 60% of the remaining unreached people groups on planet Earth, which is like 4,000+ of them,
right.
60% of those you can't get into with an American passport. So it's like we know our mission in all of these
Wow,
cities,
dude.
we can live there as Americans, but to press the gospel further into these territories and these villages and these other cities and these other sub places, we need
Mm,
to plant there, establish a beachhead, train, develop ministry schools, raise up leaders, plant churches, and then send them into these other places that we can't go, man. So really it's like a beachhead apostolic mission that we're on. So
yeah,
establish a beachhead, infuse it with an apostolic team, but really then it's about the indigenous church, the national local church being raised up to then go
wow.
out and launch out, man. So we are like, it's not like I'm going full time in May. All of my attention will be on it in May, but we've been full time with this thing now for years. And dude, it's
Hmm,
awesome. We're so excited.
that's crazy, dude. So
It's
much of what
time.
you just
It
said is,
pays.
like, so much of my heart for the nations,
Oh,
and,
come on, dude.
bro, I would love to be involved with what you guys are doing
Get
in
in,
some
baby.
way. I love it, man.
And bro, we have a
So
house of
good.
prayer called Rooftop House of Prayer that we also launched. So our strategy is we 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 have our lists of cities.
Mhm,
We visit the cities. We have all connections in almost every gateway city, but then we pray and discern and hear God speak. Hey, here are the next 2 or 3. And so then we start to build a team for those cities, but every city we do something different. So we're not like cookie cutter. Like we're about to
mm,
we're about to plant next year in Kathmandu, Nepal. We have a network of 200 young leaders, bro, in their 30s and 40s that want us to start a school of ministry. So that's what we're going to do. Like they're already
Wow.
planning churches, but now they're saying, our leaders, we want them a place to be raised up. Can you help us do that? So that's what we're going to do there. But also with every team that we launch, we install and infuse and plant a house of prayer. And it's not like a house of prayer where you just sit in the prayer room all day and pray. It's a missional house of prayer, meaning you worship, you pray over Luke 10:2 and ask God to send workers. And then whatever God speaks and says, you actually go out and do. So it's very high on the receiving and activation side of prayer. So I would love to get you and Denise and the crew somehow involved, man. We gotta think it through.
Yeah, bro. I
It's
mean,
Masa Loco.
for real. It's Masa Loco.
Did that make sense? Or Muy Loco? Muy Loco.
Muy
Sorry.
loco.
What does Mas
Muy
Loco
loco.
mean? More crazy?
More crazy. It's more. Both could be true. Both of
When
those
God
statements
was
could be
making
true.
me, he was like, Mas Loco. Mas Loco. Put a little shake of
Poquito
blood
más
on top.
loco. And then he dropped the bottle, and he was like, "Ugh,
He's like, oh dear.
this one's gonna be a.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a
We're gonna put
troublemaker.
this guy. We're gonna put this guy nearby Frank Laporta.
Exactly, dude.
We're gonna
Oh
put this
man.
guy in Jersey. It's the only place he's gonna survive.
Yeah. What godforsaken place could handle this much crazy? We'll go North Jersey. That's what the angel said. We'll go North Jersey.
Could you imagine if he put you in South Jersey?
I wouldn't be here talking to you right now, bro.
Could you imagine what your life would have been like?
I wouldn't be here talking to you right now, bro. I'd be absolutely lost at a cheesesteak sandwich factory somewhere doing the
You
lines,
wouldn't be
man.
doing the Gateway Project, that's for
We're
sure.
doing the Gator project. I'd be doing the Whiz With project. You know what I'm saying? Just stand out there,
Whiz with.
stand outside Pat's every day, panhandling. That's what I'd be doing. But I
Oh
love you
man,
much, man. And this has been awesome. And
love you too, bro.
I promise, Scouts Honor, that I'll jump on this thing again in the near future. Near future meaning
Yeah.
sometime in the next few months. I'm all in, baby.
Yeah, let's do it again. We'll deep dive on the Gateway Project. Maybe start with that next time
Let's
and
start. Let's leave. I mean, we talked through a lot of
just
stuff
get
though, man.
into
We
it.
talked through worship, we talked through creativity, church stuff. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it too,
Well,
man. Oh,
let's talk
I'm into it.
next time we talk, let's talk gateway and then talk about like applying that strategy. Because gateway project is it's like such a niche mission too. It's like a lot of people can be involved in it, but it's a really, really specific call. But it'd be cool to like talk about it of ways like what's something that every believer could like do that has similar vibes to what that is, which is like praying, using discernment, using
Mhm.
relationship, figuring out creative ways to reach your community or people around you. I think that'd be a really cool topic too.
Love it.
Love you,
Well, I
man. Please
appreciate
give
what
the
you're
wife
doing,
and family
man.
my hugs and kisses, dude.
Yeah, same here, brother. Thanks everybody for watching, listening,
Peace, y'all.
subscribing, reviewing,
Like,
all that stuff.
subscribe,
All that
follow.
stuff.
See you, bro. Have a great day, man.
You too, brother. Love you, man.
Bye.
Bye.